everybody. It's like a casino vibe. We know the lights are on in here, but the lights are on outside as well.
No idea what it's like.
None, no casino vibes. But you got 47 from your lead dogs. But Tomas Satoransky with 19 points and 11 assists tonight. Ever since he's been inserted into that starting lineup, that starting lineup has obviously played better, and it's been so that guys like Zach and now Nikola Vucevic can perform. This dude, he's doing everything right now these last week and a half.
Yeah, because he's a distributor first. He's not a guy that's going to go out and look for a shot first. And you saw when the Nets made a run late in the second half, you saw the coach say, you saw Billy Donovan say, "Hey, Tomas, get in the game." That's because he had to stop this run right away. And Tomas is now the calming force wheel of this team when teams make runs against him.
And you're right. Let's be very clear. You talked about he's a facilitator first, all right? But the one thing I think since he's been inserted in the starting lineup now, to me, he's that third scorer that they needed consistently. And he's been aggressive. He's looked for, I don't want to say he's necessarily looked for a shot, but as Kendall talked about, he looks into the post, not there. He looks to find Zach, not there. Okay, let me run the screen roll, let me cut, when I don't have the basketball. And I think that's where now you look at the numbers when, what he did. 8 of 10 from the field. It's not like he's taking and forcing bad shots. He's just taking what's given to him. And he's knocking them down. And much like now when you put Sato on the floor and you put him on the floor with Vooch, now you talk about willing passers and you talk about Thad. I mean, that's one of those things where now players are probably looking at Billy like, "Ooh, put me." Because I know I got 3 guys on the floor that are willing to pass the ball if I'm open. If I continue to move and don't just stand there, I'll get some touches.
Speaking of Tomas and some of the others, the guys who aren't named Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, I thought Troy Brown Jr.'s minutes were very impactful tonight because if you look at it, this is how this thing's supposed to function. Zach can cover guys on off possessions or whatever the case may be. If Tomas is having an issue with somebody, you could throw a defender out there who isn't scared to crash your boards. He has 7 rebounds and 6 points, but a guy like that will help Zach's legs and help some of the perimeter legs out there. As a defender, if you got another guy out there and you only got to take him in the fourth quarter, your legs are fresh.
Oh yeah, and then you can also say, listen, give me a break, take him for a couple of possessions, and that's something that Brown provides. Also,
did you just say Brown provides? Like, what can Brown do for you? Like the UPS commercial?
There you
go.
That's
a joke that Fogel and Corby have been making.
Yeah, there you go, guys. You see how we interjected it into the telecast here? But he did a great job of coming in and spelling Zach. Also, like I said, he's not afraid on the offensive end.
Yeah.
He can put the ball in the basket.
The biggest thing I like, he rebounds for his size and his position.
Yeah.
Of where he rebounds from, right? But the interesting thing is now, let's also talk about a good move by Billy in the first half. All right? Denzel comes in, had 2 good games. He comes in, he's a little wild and woolly. What does he do? Archie, get him. Pulls him out after that behind the back pass. But instead of sitting him on the bench the rest of the game, he allows him to come back in the second half. And I thought Denzel played well in that second half. He played under control. Didn't take any ill-advised shots, handled the ball better. And that's just, coach trying to figure out who I can trust.
And speaking of guys that you can trust, we know that you should be able to and have been able to trust Zach LaVine for all of this year. As you mentioned, there was a little bit of a slide in terms of his efficiency, and some of that has to do maybe with the ankle, some of that has to do with shot selection, whatever the case may be. Coming out of the All-Star break, he wasn't the Zach that we have come to know and love in the first half. Seems like he's getting his rhythm back a little bit.
Yeah, and sometimes we go through spells as NBA players where you're tired, and then Zach, he had to deal with the ankle injury. And also, listen, you had to go to the All-Star game, had to deal with the trade, had to deal with all of the pressures also of carrying this team for the first half of the season, and that could weigh on you. And, it may take you a couple of games to get back in your rhythm. I think we saw him get back in rhythm. You know how I knew? Because when he took that last shot, that's Zach-like.
Yeah, he felt himself on that.
He was feeling himself.
Go ahead, Will. Yeah.
Kendall, tell us why he just explain why
he was feeling himself to take that shot.
Why he was feeling himself there?
Yeah, why was that such a shot where you're like, oh, okay, I'll let that ride, I guess?
Like, hey, man, my average is it's 27.5 now.
You're not thinking about that on that shot.
Huh?
You're not thinking about that. I was surprised that he pulled from that.
You already know you got the game won. You're thinking about that on that shot. I'm telling you as a scorer. I'm pulling 2.
That was from like 2.
I'm pulling 2.
There's 3 stats that jump out to me. 1, the number of times he went to the free throw line, 8 of 12.
Yeah.
2, 5 assists, but something that we've been clamoring about for Zach. Take care of the basketball. Only 2 turnovers today.
Yeah, the whole team did that tonight. And it's like the Brooklyn Nets take care of the ball, so maybe the onus was on you to understand that we can't have a 14, 15, 16 turnover game and then not only have 9 or 8. So it was fun to watch the matchup, not just from a defensive standpoint, but also from an offensive standpoint. And speaking of, Nikola Vucevic is giving the Bulls the same thing pretty much every single game. It's just, when is it going to be impactful? How is he going to play? Defensively, I thought he was, he's a brick wall a couple of times at the rim tonight, but if you can count on somewhere around 22 and 13, 22 and 12, I'll take it every night.
Yeah, I mean, and you see right there where a 7-footer faked the 3-point shot, then took it all the way to the basket. Now you can throw it down to him. He's going to his Will-Purdue skills down there in the block, knocking it down, and then he goes mid-range. So not only can he score from outside, he can go mid-range and in the post as well. And I'm going to tell you, a big guy like that takes a toll on your defense because he can either draw fouls or beat your big man up.
Knock down the 3, but something else I noticed he was doing today, when he wasn't getting the ball in the post, like in the first couple games when he was calling for it and they didn't give it to him, he kind of just stood there and didn't move. Today, when Zach had it, other guys had it, he was moving. He was circling around. You saw guys looking to attack off the dribble. He slid out of that post position, gave them room, and then when the help came, they dumped it off to him. And as Kendall said, he hit a mid-range jumper from the baseline. He hit a mid-range jumper from the wing. He hit a mid-range jumper from the free throw line. So now he's realizing, hey, I can move as well when these guys won't get it to me in the post. But I guarantee you, he'll have a little talk with them about, hey, guys.
Yeah.
When I'm working my butt off down in the post, just throw it to
Just
him.
holler at me.
Because you know what he's mastered? The one-hand pass out of the post to the opposite side of the floor when the defense overloads to try to slow it down.
Yeah, just a little bit of patience now because you got a big man that's going to repost for you.
Yeah, and see, it takes a little while. You just heard Will say, that Vucevic will talk to the other players. It takes a little while for you to get used to a big man. Bulls haven't had a guy like this before, so they don't know what a luxury it is just yet. I think they're starting to find out, but when they really get used to him, this is going to be a great offensive team.
This franchise hadn't had a big guy like this since Pau Gasol, and it's been a long time since Pau was here. Yep. Let's head inside the Bulls Zoom room in our Xfinity Game Report and hear from head coach Billy Donovan.
Unfortunately, in the other part, too, as we got to the free throw line tonight,